Hey guys, so on this week's episode of Make It with Calvin, I'm going to be talking about my initial impressions of the Geeetech A10M and run you guys through a few problems that I have had with it and how I worked around that. So let's dive into it. So first of all, I would like to extend a huge thank you to Geeetech for being gracious enough to send me out this machine around the middle of December, and due to things being kind of crazy with school, sadly things were somewhat delayed in getting a video out, so I'm really sorry about that, guys. But it did give me some time to work through a few issues that I had with the machine out of the box. So let me discuss those really quick and then we'll actually talk about the machine itself. So the minor issues that I had out of the box were, initially when the machine came from the factory, they had these metal clips that were holding the super plate, which is this, down, and why that was there I have no clue, but it ended up causing the heated bed to short out when the machine turned on, so I suspected it had a bad power supply, not realizing the metal clips were at fault, and I ended up buying another power supply I didn't need for it, which was kind of frustrating, but oh well. Lesson learned was, if you have the metal bed clips, make sure that you remove those, and there should be a piece of double-sided adhesive that has not had the other side peeled off, and that solved my problem with that. Why that was there, I have no clue. Now once I got the machine finally operational, I did run into one other problem, which was the E-steps, which is the steps per millimeter for the extruder, was way off. Now I keep hearing stories about how some people claim it's fixed, some people claim it isn't. I don't know what's going on with that, but I have a video that I'll link to up here where I talk about how to correct the E-steps on your machine. It's really quite frustrating though, because running into those issues out of the box was a bit unplanned, but thankfully fixing the E-steps was pretty simple. Just did a little math and I got that corrected. Now all that said, let me actually talk about the machine itself. The design of it is the exact same as the A10, which is a rock solid machine that I have used with Jimmy on various projects. It's a very nice machine, very capable. The M though means that this machine has two extruders that feed into a mixing head that comes out of one nozzle. Now while this is really cool for doing color transition prints and even doing custom mixing, so say you have a black and you want to mix in a little bit of glitter to make your own glittery filament, you can do that. I will say though that for just doing single color printing, which is what I predominantly do, the mixing head is somewhat problematic. Also, I have tried using the mixing head with dissolving supports and breakaway support material, but I found that a little bit of the support material was still getting into the PLA and contaminating it and causing me to have some really bad layer bonding issues. So I can't exactly recommend the machine for doing dual extrusion with dissimilar materials. And one other thing to keep in mind is you have to keep filament in the idle side of the machine, or you will have problems with the filament feeding up out of the hot end and into the Bowden tube and clogging it. So you can't see it on camera, but I do actually have a little piece of filament shoved in the other side. Now keep in mind when you're doing that though, that the filament sitting in the idle side will be baking in there, and PLA doesn't really like that. Even if you're doing a dual color print, that can still be an issue. So just keep that in mind. Overall though, I do have to say the machine is very well built. It's very rugged. The super plate is very nice. When it's hot, PLA likes to stick to it as long as it's clean. In between prints, I will clean it with alcohol and a clean napkin, and when it's hot, PLA sticks great. I've been able to get ABS to stick decently, although there is a caveat that the heated bed has a hard time maintaining 100 degrees C when the machine is operating, and it has the hot end at about 235 to 245 C, so keep that in mind. That was a little bit frustrating, but I personally don't print in ABS. I kind of feel like ABS is kind of falling out of favor in the 3D printing community with other materials anyways, so just keep that in mind. I did also get PETG to stick nicely at 80 degrees Celsius when the bed was hot, and I've also had really good luck with it when printing ColorFab's engine, which I believe is also a PETG based polymer, so it works really good for those things. Nice thing is when the prints cool down, they pop off the bed, no problem. So that's another nice feature. So overall, in my short conclusion about the machine, I will say that if you are going to be using the machine to do custom color mixing, or you're going to be doing gradient prints where you start at one color and you mix into another, having the mixing head is actually pretty nice. If you're the kind of person who's going to use it, get it. If you're the kind of person who's going to be like me and predominantly just doing single color prints, I would not recommend getting it, because you're going to end up having a lot of clogging issues and things like that. Go grab yourself an A10, use the $100 you saved to buy some nice filament, and go from there. So as for me, I'm going to run. I got a print to get started on here, as you can tell, and hope you guys enjoyed this little overview of my initial impressions of the Geeetech A10M, and see you guys later with more videos.
Thank you.